Your Excellency, the Governor Sarah Tucker and Mr. Tucker, Premier of Montserrat, the Honorable Joseph Taylor Farrell and Mrs. Farrell, Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, the Honorable Charlene White, Deputy Premier and Minister of Communication, Works, Energy and Labor, the Honorable Dr. Samuel Joseph and Mrs. Joseph, Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Housing and the Environment, the Honorable Cranston Buffon, Minister of Education, Health and Social Services, the Honorable Charles Kernan, Parliamentary Secretary, the Honorable Veronica Dorset Hector, Deputy Governor, the Honorable Lyndall Simpson and Mr. Simpson, Attorney General, the Honorable Sherry Jemmett Rodney and Mr. Rodney, Financial Secretary, the Honorable Lindona Lambert Sweeney and Mr. Sweeney, Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Paul Lewis, other members of the Legislative Assembly, Chairman of the OECS Council of Ministers and Minister of Economic Development, Planning, Agriculture, Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, Grenada, the Honorable Lennox J. Andrews, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy of Dominica, the Honorable Roland Royer, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development of St. Lucia, the Honorable Alfred Prosper, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Saboto Caesar, Junior Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries of the BVI, the Honorable Dr. Carl Dawson, Director General of the OECS Commission, Dr. Didacus Jules, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture of Antigua and Barbuda, Sandra Joseph, Permanent Secretary, St. Kitts, Miguel Fleming, IICA Representative for the Eastern Caribbean States of St. Lucia, Mr. Greg C.E. Rawlins, Food and Agriculture Organization Representative Renata Clark, members of the visiting delegation from the OECS Commission, other members of the visiting delegation from Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada, the Magistrate, Her Worship Vashti Chatur, members of the clergy, Bishop Dr. Melroy Mead, members of the Public Service Commission, the Auditor General Acting, Ms. Marsha Mead, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, Mrs. Beverly Menz, other Permanent Secretaries, Commanding Officer of the Royal Montserrat Defence Force, Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Alvin Ryan, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Alexander Enriles, Supreme Court Registrar, Mr. Colin Mead, Director of Agriculture, Dr. Selvin Maloney, heads of departments, staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, farmers, fishers, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning and a warm welcome to all present here this morning at the 8th meeting of the OECS Council of Ministers of Agriculture and Fisheries. We also recognize that some delegates were unable to travel to Montserrat, but are joining us via live stream. I now invite Mrs. Mildred Chalmers to the stage. She will bless us with the territorial song, followed by a prayer by Dr. Bishop Melroy Mead. I respectfully request that everyone stands for both. Thank you.
Proud Permit me to preface my prayer with a word for today, taken from the book of Genesis, and it says, "Leave the boat, all of you. Release all the animals and birds so they can breed and reproduce in great numbers." And the Lord was pleased with the sacrifice and said to himself, "I will never again curse the earth, destroying all living things, even though people's thoughts and actions are bent toward evil from childhood. As long as the earth remains, there will be springtime and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, day and night." Let us pray. Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, we bow before you this morning, knowing that the earth is yours and they that dwell therein. We can't help today but marvel at the simplicity of your plan for mankind, the wisdom for creativity and innovation. We ask this morning for your intervention so that the purpose gathered here would yield fruit in the name of Jesus. I speak your blessings, your guidance in this area this morning, and every decision made, we commit today's proceedings into your hands in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much. You may all be seated. I would now like to welcome to the stage Dr. Didacus Jules, who is the Director General of the OECS, to pass on some remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. The protocol having already been established, but special recognition to Her Excellency the Governor General and spouse, the Premier Farrell and Mrs. Farrell, Chair of the Council of Ministers, Honorable Lennox Andrews, our esteemed host Minister of Education, Minister Buffon, who I must say was very insistent that we have to come to Montserrat to have this meeting. So we are here at his command. Last night at the cocktail, I expressed the expectation that this 8th meeting of the ministers, the Council of Ministers of Agriculture, would be the most consequential of the meetings held to date, because we spent the last year mixing the concrete and making the blocks that will be used to build this food fortress that we call the OECS FAST, meaning the OECS Food and Agriculture Systems Transformation Strategy. The design of this structure has been led, and I want to emphasize that, has been led by our Ministers of Agriculture, all of whom are seated here, and those who are not present are unavoidably absent, but they have been integral to this process. It has been led by the Ministers of Agriculture, orchestrating a technical partnership that involves expertise in all of the member states, the agriculture unit at the OECS Commission, and our key strategic partners, the UN FAO, represented here by Ms. Clark, and the IECA, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture, represented by Mr. Rollin. It is important to note that the FAST strategy is not a structure that will be built from the top down, but constructed from the bottom up. And I want to emphasize this point because it is very critical in the approach that we are taking at the OECS Commission in shaping such initiatives. A persistent problem in Caribbean approaches to development is the tendency for prescription, shaping solutions that are too reliant on expert opinion, sometimes not sufficiently informed by data, by empirical data, and most importantly, not having listened to the voices that matter the most, farmers and industry insiders. The other simple point, and I'm not going to be long today because we have a lot of work to do, this other simple point I want to make is that this is not just about agriculture. It is intersectoral, it is multidimensional, and it is an ecosystem. We are all familiar with the African saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and I think we all get that. Schools, parents, churches, the wider society, neighbors, aunts, uncles, all of that is what it takes to raise a child. Similarly, and likewise, the successful implementation of the FAST requires that many things be put in place, from production systems that use climate-smart and appropriate tech, which goes beyond primary production to value-added products. It's not enough to grow plantains or potatoes or whatever we do as part of our food security basket, but what do we do beyond that? Why are we growing those things if we're still importing chips made with high levels of salt and other things that are inimical to our health? So we need to move that from primary production to a tertiary stage of value added, to efficient distribution that is strengthened by quality standards and attractive packaging, to marketing that is undergirded by fair trade principles and equitable pricing. So there's a whole lot that needs to go into this, and what we are here for this week in Montserrat is to begin to put those pieces together. They've been designed, and now we have dug the foundations, and we are here to start construction. We are going to be looking to engage with farmers in a more intimate way so that farmers can play their role in this process, and that the concerns, the challenges faced by farmers are integral to the success. Addressing these are going to be integral to the success of this initiative. Thank you very much, and we look forward to your support on this initiative.
Thank you, Mr. Jules. I'd now like to welcome to the stage the Honorable Cranston Buffong. He's the Minister responsible for Agriculture, Lands, Housing and the Environment here on the island of Montserrat.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Distinguished colleagues and honored guests, it is with great pleasure and a warm Montserratian welcome that I extend greetings to you and each and every one of you gathered here today. As we convene this Council of Ministers of Agriculture on our beautiful Emerald Isle, we are reminded of the spirit of collaboration, one that unites us in pursuit of a common goal, that is, advancing regional cooperation on food security within the OECS. It was the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, who once said, "The future of our global environment is unavoidably tied to the development of agriculture and the successes of our world's farmers." If you listen to that carefully, it simply says, without our farmers and our producers, we're in trouble. This statement is even more stark against the times in which we live. Sufficient quantities of affordable food are the cornerstone of human well-being and economic stability. And I want to reiterate the word affordable. There's no point having it if you cannot buy it or if you cannot afford it. However, affording food security is becoming more challenging as we face climate change, population growth, and economic disparities. While some regions can invest in agricultural technologies, others, particularly in small island developing states, are having a hard time to even keep up or to even buy and implement these technologies. More so, with expensive startups, attracting our young farmers is proving to be very difficult. Because of these reasons, it is imperative that small island states foster, I want to say, a harmony of collaboration between us. I'm reminded of when I was a young man, and we used to have things that they call the maroons. I come to your house and help you with your casting. You come to my house and help me with my plowing of my ground or whatever it is. That was the spirit. So when I hear Dr. Jules say, it takes a village, it takes an OECS, it takes a community of member states to say, we are going to fix these challenges that we have. Over the years, we have been meeting in various areas of the region, sometimes in St. Vincent, another time in Anguilla. But today, I have a unique sense of pride in hosting you here in Montserrat today. After 30 years of the devastation caused by our Superior Hills volcano, and if you've looked around, for those of you who are visiting, you can see that our economy is re-emerging, and we are still here and we are still thriving, and we are ripe, pun intended, we are ripe with the potential and opportunities for the further development, especially in the agricultural sector. Given our demographics, our location, our size, our fertile soil, our abundance of water, it is my firm belief that Montserrat, we hold the potential for a model of agricultural innovation and transformation. However, achieving self-sufficiency in agriculture requires collaboration, lots of collaboration, lots of support from our neighboring islands, and of course, our regional partners. Whatever the geopolitics, and I'm looking at Dr. Jules, we have to break these barriers. The ones that dictate that because I'm British, and you all know the story, I cannot benefit. This visit will give you the opportunity to see firsthand and experience our unique circumstances. I've been preaching and pleading for years, well, the last 4 years, about the issues we have from irrigation to iguanas and agoutis. You're here for yourself to see exactly what I'm talking about. Not just to see our challenges, but also to see the opportunities, share our ideas, create ways, and continue the revival of our agricultural sector in Montserrat. By working together with our colleagues across the region, Montserrat aims to leverage shared expertise and resources to advance our agricultural development and ultimately reach the objective of greater self-sufficiency. This collaborative approach underscores the importance of partnerships in driving innovation and sustainability within our Caribbean agriculture. Now, the OECS was a visionary initiative that for over 4 decades, 40 plus years of championing the development, the growth, the economic resilience of its member states. Through innovative policies such as the FAST strategy, our food and agriculture systems transformation, which I know these discussions here today will be about implementation. Too often we have strategies that we have not implemented, they're on shelves, and this conversation today is about how do we implement these strategies? How do we start, as Doc said, from the ground up, reaching our farmers, our fishermen, and getting them to that point of producing? We convene today amidst unprecedented challenges, and of course, where there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. Our global landscape has been forever changed by the pandemic. It has also exposed to us our vulnerabilities in our food systems, and it also underscores the necessity for our local and regional self-sufficiency. Food security is not merely a policy goal. It is a fundamental right. And as Ministers of Agriculture, we have a mandate to ensure safe, again, as I said before, nutritious and affordable food for our citizens. By pooling our resources, our expertise, and our knowledge, we can leverage economies of scale, enhance our resilience, and foster better, sustainable agricultural practices. At the heart of our discussions will be imperative to address the multifaceted challenges facing our food systems, included climate change, limited resources, and of course, market fluctuations. We must also seize the opportunities presented by advancements in technology, with precision agriculture and digital solutions to drive our productivity and our efficiency. Montserrat remains committed in its support for the OECS, advocating diligently for all islands to receive not merely equal, but equitable assistance in addressing the myriad of challenges that confronts us collectively. Historically, small islands we have taken care of, collaborated, and we have shared, and we have learned from each other. This spirit of cooperation is not the only way we can ensure our survival, but guarantees that we are here for our children who are going to follow us. As Helen Keller once said, alone we can do little, but together we can do much. As a region, our collective efforts are our strength, and it is through this unity that we can achieve long-lasting progress and resilience. This collaboration is not just an opportunity, it is a necessity. I want to pause for a minute and recognize our students who are here with us, because nothing we do as a government will be beneficial if we do not include our students. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. I want to invite one of you to collect a small token that we have for you today. If anyone knows me, I'm pushing agriculture. I have a packet of seeds and some of the documents inside which I think will be beneficial to our students. So while she comes, I'm not sure if I'll get the chance to, but I want to thank, I know the speech, the person who's giving thanks might say it, our protocol officers. You have done an amazing job. And I want you to give them a round of applause, please. So on behalf of the ministry, of course, I want to present this little small token to you. And I'm looking forward. Thank you. I'm looking, wait, Maha, sorry. My bad. And I'm giving you 3 months. Most of those will bloom in 3 months. I want to see and witness and taste what you would have planted. So together, including our youth, we have the power to transform our challenges into opportunities, to cultivate a future where food security is not just a goal or a privilege of the few, but a reality for all. In closing, I extend gratitude to each of you for your dedication, for your commitment to this vital cause. Let us embrace the opportunity to deepen our partnerships, forge new alliances, and pave the pathway for a brighter and a more resilient future for generations to come. Thank you, and may our discussions be productive and inspire productive change. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd now like to welcome the Honorable Lennox Andrews of Grenada, who is the chairman of the OECS Council of Ministers of Agriculture. Honorable Lennox Andrews.
So thank you, Madam Chairlady. Very pleasant good morning to everybody. Morning. I want to begin by bringing you warm greetings and fraternal greetings from our Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, and from the government and people of Grenada. I also want to say how impressed we are for the accommodation that you, the people of Montserrat, have made to make our stay here memorable, meaningful, and may I say also rich in values. So as head or as chair, and if I may say as a new chair, of the Council of Ministers of Agriculture, I pledge to continue the work of my colleague, the Honorable Senator Adrian Thomas, who, my fellow countryman, was the chair. And I have only taken up this chair since January of this year. So we meet to continue the dialogue and to deliberate on programs and initiatives within our agricultural sphere and to advance our food and agriculture system transformation strategy. Of course, that was presented to the 6th Council of Ministers, which was convened in Dominica in 2022, and in which priorities were agreed upon in Grenada last year at the 7th Council of Ministers who have responsibility for agriculture. There are a number of things that we are going to deliberate on today, all related to the implementation of the FAST. So, for example, the establishment of the Ministerial Oversight Committee, and in particular the rules and its functions, the Food and Nutrition Security Center. We're going to receive an update on that. And the establishment, very importantly, the establishment of the OECS Sanitary and the Phytosanitary Subcommittee. We intend to also get updates on key initiatives, such as the Youth in Agriculture Symposium. And that symposium is to be convened during the 2nd week of August of this year in Dominica. And I also want to pause and give recognition to the presence of our young people. And I don't want to call them young farmers. I want to call them young agricultural scientists, because agriculture is a science. And if it's a science, then we must so call it as such. And all those who are involved in agriculture must be seen as scientists. And therefore, I want to recognize and applaud you and applaud the teachers who had the vision, the foresight, to have our young agricultural scientists present here as that drive, as that motivation to get them actively involved in that industry. We are also going to get some updates on the EU-funded initiative, the EDF 11 program, also the EU-funded agriculture insurance initiative. We're going to have a session in Barbados from the 3rd to the 5th of July. We will also receive an update on the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund project. There is plenty of money there as well. The World Bank funded fisheries initiatives with the unleashing of UBEC, the Blue Economy project. We're going to receive update from that as well. And certainly we will discuss a work program for next year in keeping with all of these priorities. I want to end by saying that if there is one industry that can transform lives, that can eradicate poverty, and that can bring an improvement in living standards for our people of the region, that industry is agriculture. And it is agriculture because agriculture has that close linkage with all other sectors. A strong linkage with tourism. A strong linkage with manufacturing. A strong linkage with every other sector that you could think of. And therefore, what we have to do is to design policies and projects and programs rigorously suited and adapted to the needs of our country to build that agricultural industry. And I refer to agriculture as an industry, not as a sector. It's an industry, given its wide-ranging impact it can have on the economy. But I also want to give you the assurance, my dear people, that as ministers of government and as technocrats, many times we come to functions of this kind, we meet, we discuss, we share brilliant ideas, and then we go back home. We make important decisions, and then we go back home. And we are faced with the problem of implementation. The problem of implementation. So I'm saying to you that as chair of this committee, my role is to ensure that when we go back to our respective countries, as a collective, we would take steps to ensure that our decisions are implemented. And that is important. Because the longer we take to implement, the longer we take to transform our economies and to raise our people living standard. But the faster we implement is the faster we raise our people's living standard, we transform our countries, and bring a better life to our people. And therefore, if there is one message I would like all of you to take from this 8th OECS Ministers of Agriculture meeting, is that the ministers, we have all pledged to implement with alacrity all of the decisions that we would take today. And we're doing so in the interest of our respective countries and in the interest of our country as a whole, of our region as a whole. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Andrews. We're now going to have a spot of entertainment, and I'd like to welcome some dancers from Matrix Dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a warm round of applause.
It's rebuilding time. All one's treasures abroad. Me, come. Nobody go run me away from me country. Yeah, me go stay till kingdom come. Sometimes we shake and rumble. Act up now and then, but paradise goes settle.
Thank you, ladies. I'd now like to welcome the Honorable Joseph E. Farrell, Premier of Montserrat, Minister responsible for Finance, Culture, and Regional Affairs.
I noticed that they didn't say brief remarks because they understand that politicians don't understand what brief means. Permit me to accept the protocol that has been established. Your Excellency, Governor, Honorable Ministers of Agriculture and heads of delegations, Director General of the OECS, other officials, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning. Good morning. A very pleasant and warm welcome to you. We welcome you as Ministers of Agriculture to our shores. On behalf of the government and people of Montserrat and as Premier, I welcome you most heartily to this country. A warmth and tranquility you will experience maybe later the day. It is for a time such as this that is of great utility that our honorable ministers of agriculture from the OECS convene to discuss and to seek out avenues for advancing regional cooperation on food security. The theme, advancing regional cooperation for food security, is quite apt. As politicians and policymakers, we are reminded that the United Nations Committee on World Food Security defines food security as all people, at all times, have a physical, social, and economic access to sufficiently safe and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active, healthy life. As we look at our televisions, read the news online, or interact with persons in various spheres, we cannot help but be increasingly aware of the plight of many millions of persons the world over who are struggling to find food to feed not only themselves, but their families as well. As politicians within the region who are entrusted with looking after the needs of our populace, what can we reasonably do? The health of our nation is its wealth. This is not merely a cliche, but a statement of positivity and action. According to Pan American Health Organization, non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, etc., carry the highest related burdens and are the most common causes of death in our region. And this includes Montserrat, of course. This is not only alarming, but should be viewed as a clarion call to act swiftly to arrest and reduce this negative trend. And we can only achieve this when a region is united in its food production strategy to produce wholesome foods and to make it available and affordable at all times. Our agricultural sector faces many challenges, to include the high cost of inputs, the impacts of climate change on food production, be it a change in the rainfall pattern, excessive heat and high temperatures, floods, and pretty lastly, all of which could negatively impact food security or food sovereignty in the region, as we seek to meet the target of reducing our food imports bill by 2025, by 25% by 2025. Consequently, we must introduce innovative ways of mitigating against these challenges. Member states could cooperate in developing improved varieties for higher yields, or even stress-tolerant species. We can cooperate in developing new technologies for producing more food, be it through hydroponics, greenhouse operations, bulk multiplications through tissue culture of plants. A member state may produce an abundance of food, but if it cannot reach the market in another member state, the aim of making foods available within the region could not be accomplished. Regional transportation is a stumbling block to the region's effort to achieving food security. Therefore, unless this challenge is resolved, we will continue to deny the OECS member states the level of cooperation which it seeks in order to achieve regional cooperation on food security. Ultimately, if member states are able to solve the transportation issue, thereby allowing for the free movement of agricultural produce from one member state to the other on a regular basis, we would have achieved our goal to producing food and making it available and no doubt affordable for our populations. I am extremely passionate about agriculture, having spent many years working in the sector as an agriculturist and Minister of Agriculture. I have seen the changes which have occurred over decades, and I pledge my support to your collective efforts. My minister keep on harassing me about more money. I'm sorry. I am conscious that your visit is a short one. But it would be remiss of me if I did not encourage you to enjoy the peace and tranquility which our Emerald Isle has to offer. I trust that you will be able to visit some of our sites and see for yourself that despite the setbacks of the eruption of Soufriere Hills volcano, we are on the rise again. And I encourage you to come again and spend some time with us so that you can enjoy more of our hospitality. May your visit and your deliberation be successful. God bless.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to welcome Mrs. Beverly Menz. She is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and the Environment. She will be facilitating the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I wish to acknowledge and respect the protocol which was so ably established earlier. And we give all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise to our God above for all the wisdom, the intuition, the strength that He has given unto us to host this 8th OECS Council of Ministers of Agriculture and Fisheries meeting, bringing together the movers and shakers in the agricultural sector in the region. To God be all the glory. I want to highlight for a moment that the minister would have given a bag to a student a little while ago, and that bag has some folders for the MSS students sitting here with us, and each folder has a pack of seeds. The point of doing that is to emphasize that we have to engage and involve our youth. And the pack of seeds is to demonstrate that agriculture is not about speaking. Agriculture, if we want to see a change and if we want to improve and we want to grow, is about action. And so the pack of seeds, students, I will be checking with your teacher to make sure that you didn't take those pack of seeds and put them on your kitchen table. The pack of seeds is intended to motivate you to want to plant the seeds so that we can visit you, whether at home or at school, to see what you're doing and your interest in agriculture. So I just wanted to say that to you. Thank you for being with us today. Your Excellency, Governor Tucker, thank you for all your support. Bishop Dr. Melroy Mead and Mrs. Mildred Chalmers so ably ushered us into our celebrations in the most spiritual and patriotic way. We thank you for inspiring us this morning with very relevant and enlightening remarks. We extend our great gratitude to our Premier, the Honorable Joseph Farrell, and our resident Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Crenson Buffon. You have certainly provided us with a clear synopsis of where we are with our agricultural agendas today, and you have left us full of enthusiasm for what we can expect going forward. To the Director General of the OECS Commission, Dr. Didicus Jules, and the Chairman of the OECS Council of Ministers, Honorable Lennox Andrews, you have not only set the stage for what is to come later today, but you have provided consistent and unwavering support to the region and ensured that this meeting actually came to fruition. Thank you. Such a formal event could not be done right without the necessary military setting to include the flag procession at the very beginning, where we had the opportunity to give due respect to each participating country. To Captain Glenroy Foster and the Montserrat Cadet Corps, we are grateful for your due diligence. Thank you to the Emerald Shamiol Masquerades and the Matrix Dancers for your very captivating performances, which kept us alert and bright throughout this morning. Our youth definitely I'm reassured that our future stands in good hands. Mrs. Lorraine Lewis, our very eloquent chairperson for this ceremony, indeed, you have so very ably chaired the program, ensuring excellent flow and quality of the proceedings. Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. To our distinguished overseas ministerial delegation, and they're sitting, I would like you to please stand so we can all see who you are. Of course, there's some on the stage, but the others are sitting. If you can stand for a moment so the rest of us can see who you are. Thank you. So to our distinguished ministerial delegation who have braved the long and not very direct journey all the way to Montserrat just to be with us, I'm extending to you my very own warm welcome to Montserrat and my gratitude for sharing and working with us. To Mr. Lench Fevrier, Mrs. Natasha Ditterville Moyes, Mr. Philip Cupid, Miss Alice Clark, Natasha Augustine, Ms. Claudia McDowell, and the rest of the team at the OECS Commission. It has been a long road of hard work together with our offices here. We thank you for your guidance and keen attention to all the background logistics. Many challenges were experienced, but your tenacity and flexibility has made this all possible. Thank you. I should also say thanks for putting up with us in ringing your phones every minute by the minute and texting you all day into the nights. The setup and physical facilities for hosting these events are critical. We therefore extend a huge measure of thanks to the medical team from the Ministry of Health, Office of the Premier, Office of the Deputy Governor, the Tropical Mansion Suites, Montserrat Cultural Center, the Legislature Department, DMCA, MCRS, and diets for equipment, facilities, and staff to guarantee us smooth operations. Thank you. To all the private sector and other organizations who so graciously released your staff to assist us, we are deeply grateful also. Our deepest appreciation is extended to our sound and media partners, Ivor Greenaway and his team, Radio Montserrat, GIU, that's Government Information Unit, and all the other technicians for facilitating, capturing, and airing these events with excellent quality. The standard of any event, and certainly the work objectives we seek to attain at the end of the fanfare, is many times set by the decor of our venue and the design of our literature. This we could not have achieved without our skillful and talented partners in the persons of Roy Den-Silcott, Wayne Fenton, Aliogana Express, Darius Lewis, Claudia Skerritt, Decor Lab, Werner Brandt, and their teams. From the lovely invitations and programs to the wow effect, drapery, which we are enjoying here today, the chairs and the setup downstairs and upstairs could not have been possible without them. Thank you so much. In ensuring the safety, security, and comfort of our visiting delegation, we have depended on a number of protocol officers, drivers, security, and police officers. Our sincerest thanks for this very necessary support. To the ones who have really formed a large part of the backbone to ensuring the success of this event, the lead coordinator, Mrs. Shirley Weeks-Roach, and coordinator of the protocol and logistics team, Ms. Michelle Castle, these are the ones who really did most of the heavy lifting, along with the planning committee, including Carissa, Janelle, Glenroy, Inspector Antoine Matanaya, and Inspector Tyrone Fenton. These are the ones who did the heavy lifting, and I thank you. We owe them a huge debt of gratitude for pulling together all the aspects of this event, for supporting me every step of the way. We have been planning for some months now, and over the last 2 weeks, many long nights and days. Thank you to my ever-committed staff at the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Housing and the Environment for throwing your full energy behind the event for all the background arrangements. Surely, we must be watered and fed so that we can perform and so that we can enjoy these moments. And so therefore, we extend our gratitude to our caterers, Marilyn Boswain, Dip and Althea Kitchen, Mavis Jubri, and Alvin Gerald. To you, our lovely audience here, and those joining us by radio and online, thank you for taking the time out to support us today in this effort of setting the strategic direction of agriculture and food security in the region. We certainly could not have done this without your presence. To all others who have contributed to this event and upcoming activities, we are most grateful, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Mrs. Menz. We will now have a cultural dance by the Emerald Shamiols Masquerades. Thank you to the Emerald Samuels. Best music in the whole wide world. You can't convince me of anything different. Anyway, on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Cranston Buffon, we'd like to thank everyone for attending this opening this morning. We'd like to invite everyone, please, to retire to the foyer for some light refreshments, and there will also be some photo op opportunities. So thank you, everyone. Again, I'd just like for everyone to wait until the ministers retire first, and then everyone will be able to follow. Thank you so much.